People of the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People of 7 on Twitter and YouTube, people elsewhere on the internet. My soaps look at purplebutterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog, purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com. And it's finished. It's not going nowhere. And it's not sliding back. It completely fits. In fact, it might actually be a little too big, but as soon as I gel it down, that's not going to be an issue. So let me show you what I did. Okay, if you look closely, you can see where the part that I added is. I'm going to comb that loose, rebraid all of this into a new braid out style, and then heat set it so that way it's congruent. But here's the inside. Now the lace I used was from another wig cap that happened to be large, so it actually says large now. Okay. The video 2 videos back shows the technique I use where I cut a spot and added more lace, and that's what I did with this. I basically parted it since it's a full lace wig. I made a clean part, split it, and then sewed in a new piece of lace and then ventilated it. So yeah, and the only thing I have to do now, because basically I tacked it on the front, so here on the back I'm just going to reinforce that seam so it never comes loose or ravel. Yeah. In the meantime, since the piece of lace I used had connectors and the original has connector, I can actually hook this here and here. So yeah, and as you can tell, it now has a rounder look because it's literally shaped like my head. So that's how I did that. I do intend to, well, I'm going to release all the curls using the heat method, and then rebraid it into another pattern. And on this side, I am going to basically dye the thread where I did the restitching, because otherwise that thread is seen. So yeah. But if you have a wig that was too little, it's just a method of making sure that it fits now, because that essentially gave it about 3 inches more. And if you have a wig that's too big, you can also use the same method to sew it up and make it smaller. Where are my favorite scissors? Okay. Now I am going to bring that one strand down so that way I can see where to cut it. It's still too long right there, but at least I have an idea of how much to take off, and then I'll fine tune it later. So basically the hair was that much too long, which doesn't surprise me because that's how much too long the wig was after I trimmed it and cut it and all that when I made the original. So yeah, just thought I'd share that. But since I was essentially only ventilating a piece this big, that only took me a day to do. Plus, I was kind of motivated because I want to have this done before Sunday so I could wear to church. Okay. Now you're about to see why it has to be reset into the curl pattern. As you can tell, the wig is curly, 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 straight. Because that's all new hair that I added. So, yeah. So in the meantime, I'm going to comb this wig out, then straighten it out, and then reset the curl pattern, or I might leave it straight. I don't know yet, but in the meantime, it's good to go. With the exception of dyeing the lace right there, because, yeah, we want that completely blending in. But actually, that's literally in the back, basically from right here to the nape. So the hair will actually cover that and nobody will actually see it. But I'm OCD and I get a little particular, so that would bug me if I don't, camouflage that. Yeah. But yeah, so is this much too long because it's straight? When I braid it up and set it to a curl pattern or straighten it out completely or whatever, that's when I'll trim this to match. Because otherwise, if I cut it like this and then curl it, it might be too short. If I straighten it out and all these curls straighten out, it's stopping right there. So that's only a little bit to trim off. But basically, you do not blend textures. You don't cut it until you actually blend the texture, so that way you know what you got. So yeah, when I trim hair, I generally trim it while it's in a straightened condition, and the only way you can straighten synthetic hair is with heat. I don't use a curling iron or a blow dryer. I use boiling water. Dip it a couple of times, the curls come right out. Then you brush it, and then you trim it or whatever, and then you reset it if you want. That's my method anyway. That's what works for me.